Hi everyone.
Hi,
So Edie, we had to split up the dreams video into two different videos.
Yeah, it was really long.
So last week we talked about the cupbearer and the baker, right?
Yeah.
How Joseph interpreted those dreams.
Right, and they were in jail.
That's right. And then they got out of jail. The dreams came true, and the cupbearer forgot about Joseph, didn't he?
About Joseph.
So now we're gonna start picking up here in just a few seconds.
Okay.
About what happens next.
What happens next?
So
da, da, da.
we hope you guys enjoy the video.
Bye.
Bye. But it gets better, because you never guess who had another dream that no one could interpret.
No.
The Pharaoh.
No kidding.
That's right. So we're in chapter 41 now, guys. We'll have it right about here for you guys. But
Wow.
in chapter 41, Pharaoh. So we're starting in verse 1. When 2 full years had passed, Pharaoh had a dream. He was standing by the Nile when out of the river came 7 cows, sleek and fat, and they grazed among the reeds. After them, 7 other cows, ugly and sickly, came out of the Nile and stood beside those at the riverbank. And the cows that were ugly ate up the 7 fatty cows.
No way.
Then the Pharaoh woke up.
Uh-oh.
I would wake up too at that point in time,
Yeah,
wouldn't
that's a
you?
little creepy.
And he said he fell asleep again and had a second dream. He had 2 dreams.
2 dreams in one night.
I know, right?
I never remember my dreams.
He had 7 heads of grain, healthy and good, were growing on a single stalk. After them, 7 other heads of grain sprouted, thin and scorched by the east wind. The thin heads of grain swallowed up the 7 healthy heads, and the Pharaoh woke up. It had been a dream.
Man, 2 weirdo dreams in one night?
Yeah. So Pharaoh then gets all these people. No one can interpret these dreams.
Like, not even the smart people?
Not even the smart people.
Wow.
You know what, though?
What?
At that point in time,
What?
guess who remembered about Joseph in jail?
The cupbearer?
The cupbearer remembered Joseph in jail.
But that was a long time ago.
It was 2 years.
Yeah,
2
Joseph's
years.
been sitting in there for a long time.
Yeah. So he basically said to Pharaoh, "Today I am reminded of my shortcomings. Pharaoh was once angry with his servants, and he imprisoned me and the chief baker in the house of the captain of the guard. Each of us had the dream the same night, and each had a meaning of its own. And that there was Joseph." This is where I'm starting to paraphrase stuff.
Yeah, paraphrase. That's the word of the day.
Yeah. Where he's like, "I remember Joseph. He interpreted this dream." So Pharaoh sent for Joseph, and he was quickly brought out of the dungeon to be in front of Pharaoh.
Yeah.
So Pharaoh,
I think I might be afraid to be in front of Pharaoh.
Well, yeah, I probably would be too, to tell you the truth.
Like shaking in my boots.
Yep, be shaking my boots. It'd be like if you were in front of the president of a company or of the United States or a king or queen of a country, right?
That makes me very nervous, Paul. Keep going, please.
Okay. So, in verse 15, Pharaoh said to Joseph, "I had a dream and no one could interpret it, but I have heard that it is said that you could interpret dreams." "I cannot do it," Joseph replied to Pharaoh, "but God will give Pharaoh the answer he desires."
Wow.
Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "In my dream," and he goes through and
He talks about
talks about the dream again. Sorry, I'm trying to pull it up on my.
It's okay. He's got the fancy computer thing.
I've got the app for it.
Yeah.
So then Joseph in verse 25 says to Pharaoh, "The dreams of Pharaoh are one and the same.
Wait. 2 dreams are one dream?
2 dreams have the same meaning."
Oh, okay. Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
So then God has revealed to Pharaoh what he is to do. The 7 good cows are 7 years, and the 7 good heads of grain are 7 years. It is one and the same dream. Then the 7 lean and ugly cows came up after the 7 years, and so are 7 worthless heads of grain, scorched by the east wind. That means they're going to have 7 years of famine.
Feast and famine.
That's right. So they're going to have 7 really good years, and so they need to stock up and pile up all this food that they can, and as much as they can, and try to save as much as they can, because they're going to have a famine.
They're going to put it in the storehouse.
That's right. They're going to put it in the storehouse. Yeah. Okay? And in verse, I'm skipping around here again. So they stored up on the house, and then in verse 37, the seemed good to Pharaoh and to all of his officials. So Pharaoh asked them, "Can we find anyone like this man, one who is in the Spirit of God?" Then Pharaoh said to Joseph, "Since God has made all this known to you, is no one discerning and wise as you. You shall be in charge of my palace.
Wait.
And you shall be in charge of my palace and all my people to submit to your orders. Only with respect to the throne will I be greater than you."
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah,
Wait. Hold on a second. Stop the presses.
Okay, I'll stop the presses.
Stop. So, in a very short amount of time, the cupbearer remembered what he forgot, which was Joseph, by the way.
Yep, 2 years.
2 years, yeah. And so then Pharaoh told Joseph his dreams.
Yes.
Joseph interpreted the dreams.
Yes.
And then Pharaoh put him in charge of the whole place.
That's right. So we go
Wait, that's crazy.
I know, so we go from this kid.
Joseph is like a kid.
We go from Joseph, being, we're going to say 15 probably at the
Maybe
time.
young person.
Yeah, we'll say roughly 15 because I think later on in Tesla he's 17. But he's 15 years old. He's sold into slavery by his brothers. Then he comes to Egypt. He works under Potiphar's house and is a slave there. But Potiphar puts him in charge of everything. He's about 17-ish. And then he's thrown into jail again.
For something he didn't even do.
For something he didn't do. But now, we'll say he's in his mid-20s.
I don't know, maybe.
We'll say mid-20s.
Okay.
He's in charge of the land. And the only one that's above him is Pharaoh.
Pharaoh. So he got raised way up. And now, I don't know, but now people have to bow to him? Okay,
That
I don't
sounds
want to give away any spoilers,
No,
but I think I see the end.
Yep, we're getting very close, Edie.
Yay, okay,
So-
I'm a little bit happier about this
So
now.
I think we're gonna probably wrap it up there because that's pretty much all of the dreams.
That's all I got.
And then Joseph being in charge of Egypt. But next week,
Da, da, da.
the family gets back together.
They all get back together, like
Yep.
even his brothers?
His brothers.
The ones who sold him to begin with?
Yep. We'll go into that
Okay.
story next week, though, guys.
All right.
So-
Bye, everybody.
Have
Have fun.
see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.